Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you'll be joining us from to Champions Network TV in collaboration with the National Democratic Working Group Global TV, where we do hard conversation that shapes our country, Zimbabwe. And tonight, we are joined by one of the most recognizable and outspoken figures in Zimbabwean politics, Advocate or Honorable Job Sikhala, popularly known as Wiwa. Honorable Sikhala is a lawyer, a veteran political activist, and former member of parliament who has spent more than 2 decades at the center of Zimbabwe's opposition politics. His political journey stretches back to the student movement and the formation of Movement for Democratic Change in 1999, and he was first elected as a member of parliament in 2000. Over the years, he has faced numerous arrests in connection with his political activism. Most notably, he spent almost 600 days in pre-detention between June 2022 and January 2024, an experience that attracted considerable national and international attention. Today, he is the chief facilitator and chairperson of the National Democratic Working Group and remains an active voice in debates about Zimbabwe's political and constitutional future. Tonight, however, our purpose is not simply to revisit Honorable Sikhala's past. We want to talk about Zimbabwe today and Zimbabwe tomorrow. Where is the country heading politically? Why is political change remained so difficult? Can Zimbabwe's different opposition and democratic forces work together? What is the significant constitutional amendment, Bill number 3? And ultimately, is there a credible pathway towards political and economic change in Zimbabwe? With that, let me just welcome Honorable Job Sikhala to NDWG Global TV. I think you are muted.
Thank you very much, Misha, for inviting me to this conversation today. I am very happy to be hosted by the NDWG Global TV in collaboration with Champions News Network Television. It is a very important opportunity for this important engagement with the citizens of our country, with the masses of our people in Zimbabwe, and also the international audience at large. So I thank you very much for this invitation that you have extended to me to appear before these two important international broadcasting stations for us to share the vision about our country and also the struggles the people of Zimbabwe are going through, and also the future about our beautiful nation that we so dearly love, all of us, to develop and grow. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Job Sikhala. We take it as an honor to host people of your caliber, especially in the democratic space in Zimbabwe. As just starting, may I just ask you, Honorable Sikhala, if you had to describe the political condition in Zimbabwe today in just 3 words, what would these 3 words be and why?
Diabolic, devilish, and dangerous.
Can you elaborate on those three words, Honorable Sikhala?
Diabolic in the sense that Emmerson Mnangagwa has absolutely hijacked the national political discourse in our country and completely shut down the democratic discourse that has been taking place in our country for a long time. Dangerous in that Emerson Mnangagwa is taking anybody who is opposed to his rulership and also his intentions to establish a one-party state in our country. Number two, to establish a monarchy, and also number three, for him to entrench his rule against the will of the masses of our people. Devilish in that his rulership has been characterized by persecution of those who have been opposed to his rulership. The situation that is now degenerated into one of the worst political conditions ever witnessed in human civilization. So specifically at the present moment, the people of Zimbabwe, as we all know, are currently being throttled by Emerson Mnangagwa. He doesn't want anybody to gather. He doesn't want anybody to challenge his rule. He is closing the entire national political space to make sure that he reigns without challenge. Something that those of us and others who are resisting his rulership are currently in trouble by mere acts of challenging his grip and the entrenchment of dictatorship in our nation.
Thank you very much. For those who are watching us on Champions Network TV or National Democratic Working Group, Global TV, you have got an opportunity to interact with Honorable Sikhala either by putting your comments in the comment section, or you can join us at some point. We'll put the link in the comment section. Back to you, Honorable Job Sikhala. Zimbabwe has had organized politics for more than 25 years, and yet ZANU-PF remains in power. At what point must opposition leaders accept responsibility for their strategic failures rather than attributing the failure to achieve change entirely to repression, disputed elections, or the political environment?
No, everybody in Zimbabwe knows the truth of the matter, that ZANU-PF has never won elections since the emergence of the mass democratic struggle in 1999. ZANU-PF since 1980 has been using terror, violence, manipulation, the rigging of elections, and torture of the political opponents, murder of those who are opposed to them, and also assassination of political opponents as the tools to maintain their reign in power. So we will never run away from the political realities that are mitigating on the ground. For us to understand that the heroes and heroines who stood against this monster called ZANU-PF must be applauded for their relentless effort for them to continue resisting this evil political organization that has been gripping their lives and brought a lot of suffering and poverty within their home states. So anybody who would want to dismiss, the political environment that we have, that has been obtaining in our country since 1980 up to present, is none other than the failure of the opposition to overthrow the ZANU-PF. Will be misconstruing and understanding what is mitigating on the ground. We all must understand that the political situation in our country has been characterized by a mass murder of those who have been opposed to ZANU-PF since 1980. Don't forget that even between 1980 to 1987, a genocide was committed in our country by those people who had been opposed to the ZANU-PF rule, specifically the supporters of Joshua Ngomo. And we know what happened in Matabele during the period of Ukraine, that more than 20,000 innocent civilians in our country have been killed by the ZANU-PF regime. Not only that, any other opposition that later emerged thereafter We also exposed it to the same ruthless condition against their will by ZANU-PF. And there is no doubt that the emergence of the mass democratic struggle in 1999 via the emergence of the movement for democratic change that brought really a serious challenge to ZANU-PF, ignited a lot of many atrocities, impunity that had been committed against our people in the country. We have lost thousands and thousands of MDC supporters during the period of our resistance against ZANU-PF's dictatorship. Not only that, the several members of the opposition have lost their livestock, their homes have been destroyed. A lot of many abominable acts of crimes against humanity have been committed in our country. We have had many people being raped for simply supporting opposition. We have had many people being murdered and being chopped into pieces, long or short arm during our time. So this must inform all of you that the opposition in Zimbabwe did not fail. Despite that, you would realize that still the people of Zimbabwe are committed and determined to make sure that their will is going to be fulfilled in our country.
Thank you very much. Honorable Sikhala, you joined me today as a chairperson and chief facilitator of the National Democratic Working Group. Maybe the viewers may want to know, is the National Democratic Working Group a political party? Is it a civic organization? And what are the aspirations and vision for the organization?
No, thank you very much. We have been always time and again telling the masses of our people on what is the National Democratic Working Group is all about. The National Democratic Working Group came as a result of our deep thought to realize the social challenges that our nation was facing, the political challenges our nation was facing, and the economic challenges our nation was facing. So it came on board as a social justice movement that is pushing the agenda of mass-driven solutions to the crises and problems that we are facing as the people of Zimbabwe. What are the objectives of the National Democratic Working Group? When I came out of prison after a long pre-trial incarceration by the Emmerson Mnangagwa regime on the 30th of January 2024, I held a press conference at the SAPES Trust on the 3rd of on the 7th of February to announce what I was thinking after I came out of prison, finding the opposition political outfit that I belonged to in complete disarray, in complete tatters, and in complete deep divisions and misunderstanding among the political players who were outside prison when I was in prison. What we wanted to do as the National Democratic Working Group was to re-engineer and re-engage the masses of our people to ask and consult them on what they think is the best solution to the socio-economic and political challenges that we were facing as a country. We realized that there was now a divorce between the leadership in political outfits and also the grassroots, who are the masses of our people in terms of decision-making on the future of our nation. That is when we came out with the view that we need to have a vehicle to which we are going to engage the masses of our people, starting at a ward level up to provincial level, for us to understand and obtain solutions on the future of our country. The problem that we have had in the past is that the leadership were always prescribed solutions on the challenges that we're facing as a country, to which as the National Democratic Working Group, we realized that that philosophical and the ideological approach was completely at variance with the wishes of the masses of our people. What we needed to do was to make sure that we give preference to our people to be able to make decisions for the future of our country. This was informed after having thoroughly studied on how struggles that have succeeded in the past have been driven by the masses and not by political leaders. So we believe in the National Democratic Working Group that our agenda must be people-centered, must be people-driven, must be mass-owned rather than being leadership-owned. Decisions that are always coming from the top bottom have always found recipients in nations that did not respect the democratic discourse, where people's ideas and on how to run even the social, economic, and political situations of their country is concerned. The engagement with the masses would be able to give us the idea on how they want our country to move forward. Every successful struggle that has been fought and divorced from the masses has never succeeded. And I always gave the example that it did not been the contribution of our masses to our liberation struggle. The liberation struggle could not have succeeded in Zimbabwe on the basis that it had no input, and also it had no acceptance by the masses of our people. When the masses of our people, who were generally called the poor at that material time, accepted the need for them to participate in the liberation of their own country, the entire political trajectory and also the prosecution of the liberation struggle started to take an escalating route. That is the ideology and the political philosophy that we believe in, that decisions in terms on how to prosecute a struggle in Zimbabwe must not originate from the leadership. It must be originating from the masses of our people. The masses of our people must be at the center for each and every decision that a political organization must take. The moment we do that, we know that people are prepared to die for the decisions which they are part to, not decisions which they are being dictated to. Decisions that have been dictated to the people have always found it difficult to be accepted by the same people who are expected to be the recipients of what the leadership would have thought. So this is an ideological thrust that we are currently bringing in Zimbabwe, that the National Democratic Working Group is driving a mass engagement process to make sure that our people take full participation in the political, social, and economic spheres of their nation. And in that, this new political thrust and approach and ideology has found resonance with millions and millions of our people. This is witnessed by our national presence. We are not a small organization like what other people are thinking. Under very difficult circumstances and spanners that have been thrown along our way by Emmerson Mnangagwa, we have been able to navigate ourselves for us to engage with our citizens, to engage with the masses of our people, for them to be able to articulate and speak what they think must be done in their country. We have managed to make sure that our presence, our national presence, is everywhere. And we have been able to launch underground operations for us to be able to engage people at night, to engage people at unique places like on top of the hills, in bushes, for us to be able to reach where we are today. Emmerson Mnangagwa has always been on our back, but we have also been able to outmaneuver him. He is currently surprised by the nation's spread of the National Democratic Working Group presence in the political matrix of our nation. And yes, and yet obtained surprises. More surprises are coming for him because we are no longer kids who will allow Emerson Mnangagwa to pocket the nation of Zimbabwe as if it is his own backyard. Zimbabwe belongs to us, and we are entitled for us to engage in the political developments of our country. This is the objectives and the aims of the National Democratic Working Group since its formation in 2024 up to present. We have managed to engage with the masses of our people from the ward level, just the constituency level, provincial level, up to national level. It is now a national institution and a very important political voice in the discourse of our nation. And I urge those people who are still wandering in wilderness that the opportunity for you to come to the political home for everyone, a social justice movement that is driving the national discourse and national agenda, is concerned, please come and join the National Democratic Working Group before it is too late. Everywhere we are, everywhere, and if you want any details and information on who to conduct in your ward, in your constituency, or in your province, please be free to reach out to us. I think after this conversation, Mamisha, we shall give you the details of some of the leaders to be conducted for those people who are interested to be part and parcel of this very significant and important political process that is happening in our country, to reach out to the National Democratic Working Group family. The National Democratic Working Group is now a political giant in the nation. It is now the voice that the people of Zimbabwe are also listening for views and have an input on the future of their country. So, in short, that is what I can say about what the National Democratic Working Group is all about, how far it has gone in terms of stamping its presence on the ground, on how far it has gone in terms of its membership structure and national presence in Zimbabwe. We are in each and every corner of our nation. We are expanding at a very terrific speed, and many more people are coming to join us, because this is the only political home where people have got the freedom for them to contribute in terms of the way forward, in terms of how their nation must be shaped for the future, on how they must also become relevant players in the socio-political and economical situation in our country. So basically, this is a home where democracy is respected to the utmost level. That's why it is called the National Democratic. Our democratic connotations means the ears and also decisions are not made by its chairman and chief facilitator as embodied by this speaker, but everything that we do, everything that we articulate comes after engagement with the masses of our people on the issues that they wish us to speak out to the people of Zimbabwe. So we are not carriers of our own egocentric ideas. We are the carriers of the sentiments, feelings, and thoughts of our people.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sikhala. You have mentioned that the National Democratic Working Group is mass-driven, and decisions are centered around the people. What have the people said about their political challenges, their social challenges, and economic challenges?
Quite a lot. The first thing is the mass marginalization of the general population of our country to partake in the economic activities of their country. The inequality in terms of the distribution of the national resources, and also the elite plunder of the national resources at the detriment of the majority of our people. Our people feel completely marginalized in the economic activities of their nation. They are viewing that Zimbabwe needs a new trajectory. Zimbabwe needs an overhaul in terms of how the economic situation is being run in our country, where only those who are connected to the political elite in our country have an opportunity to prosper economically at the expense of the majority of our people. The other issue they are also talking about is about how corruption, plundering, and looting has become part and parcel of the political DNA of the ruling elite and their, few inner circle, where they are plundering the national resources at the expense of the majority of our people. And our people are saying we need a situation whereby, the wealth and the resources beneath the earth of Zimbabwe benefits every Zimbabwean, and it must be able to benefit them. And also the other issue which they are fundamentally raising on the daily basis is the continued insanity of ignoring of the call to the devolution of the governance system in our country. Devolution has been one of the mantra and the call by the masses of our people during the period of the inclusive government between 2008 and 2013, where they said that they strongly believe that for communities and societies to be able to develop, there must be a devolved system that will be able to give the opportunity of local communities to develop their own areas of concern. But still, ZANU-PF is continued on its centralized political system, where everything is centered in Harare, where every decision, even for a villager down in Chipinge, in Tamandai in Chipinge, it needs to be made in Harare, while the decision must be made by a villager in Tamandai. It also, they strongly believe that we must be able to fight and make sure that we implement and put in place the devolved system of governance, where the national budget will so much concentrate on promoting and funding devolved provinces, and to make sure that development takes place in their various provinces. Unlike at the present moment, where everything is centered in Harare. It's no longer only centered in Harare at the present moment. It's now only centered in Emerson Mnangagwa, who dictates the disbursement of the national resources to individual as and when he wishes. And this is an antithesis of the people's thinking, that they are expecting themselves to also partake in issues that concerns their areas of community. No one would understand better the challenges, Vamisha, which you yourself face in Mureo. You people of Mureo are the ones who really understand the problems at your deep tank, the problems in your own community, the number of grinding mills that are in your community, the schools, the clinics, and the road infrastructure of your community. It's you who know it better. You would also understand on how you will be able to allocate the devolved national resources, or on where you should allocate them for the development of your area. So what we have at the present moment is that people are being prescribed on what they need in terms of development in their areas from Harare. And not only from Harare, but from Emerson Mnangagwa's own head, without the contribution of the local communities of our country. So this is what the people have been saying. in as far as the issues of the economic and governance system is concerned. In terms of many other issues, they are understanding that the leaders must come from the people. They must be able to drive their authority from the governed, that is the masses of our people. The masses of our people are still the key to anyone who wants to occupy public office. There is that view is non-negotiable in as far as our people are concerned. They are saying we are the owners of the country. The destiny of this country is in our hands. And what we want is our full participation in the political life of their nation. And also they are saying that quite a number of many other issues in terms of the appointment of judicial officers, in terms of how the other spheres of governance are concerned should be run. And it would need us to have another engagement again for us to debate the wider range of other things that the masses of our people have been raising in our engagements. And also, importantly, they call upon that this country needs a completely democratic governance of system. That they need a proportional representation system of governance, so as to allow the democratic discourse to be more empowered, where people will for every vote will be counting. There are quite a number of many political organizations that would obtain quite a reasonable amount of political votes during the period of voting processes, but their voices will not be represented in parliament on the basis of the winner-take-all system that we currently have in our country. Our people are clamoring and calling for a proportional representation system of governance, like the one that is obtaining in South Africa, like the one that is obtaining in Namibia, and the one that is obtaining in quite a number of many democratic nations. So the call and clamor for a proportional representation system is one fundamental aspect which the people of Zimbabwe are speaking to say we need every vote to count, we need every voice to be heard in parliament, no matter how small political organizations are, their voices must also be represented commensurate with the number of votes an organization would have obtained in an election.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sikhala, for your very in-depth response and what the masses of the people are saying. Recently there have been a constitutional amendment, Bill number 3, that is gone through in Zimbabwe. And I think one of the things that the masses of the people of Zimbabwe were saying, you are a very vocal voice and on the Zimbabwean politics, and you were absent when they needed a leader on the ground. What can you say to them?
I have never been absent. I've been very present, more than those people who are saying that. Despite being handicapped by my created legal challenges that I'm having in South Africa, I have been speaking thoroughly. I have been articulating this issue, and I have been one more vocal more than even those people who are making those allegations. There is no any voice that spoke so loud against the Constitution Amendment Bill number 3 more than our voice, both as myself and also as the National Democratic Working Group. The other issue that I also want to tell you, like what I earlier alluded, is that like what I earlier alluded is that the National Democratic Working Group believes in the collective wisdom of the masses of our people, not an individual and individual agitation. Myself, I'm just a tool that is being used by the masses of our people to articulate their views, not for me to prescribe to them what should happen. And when the masses of our people, when our ground forces in Zimbabwe have been engaging the masses of our people, they've been able to feed us on exactly what are the views of the masses vis-a-vis the issue of Camp 3. I have been articulating them very well. I have held a very powerful press conference in South Africa here, which was attended by all important important international media houses, and my position was known throughout the world, and I've been making consistent and frequent broadcasts via the Job Sikhala channel, which is about 38,000 followers, and these followers are from various countries. They are from Zimbabwe, from Mozambique, from South Africa, from the United States of America, the United Kingdom, Australia, Malawi, and all other countries. If you would check the amount of people who are following that channel, I have been making frequent broadcasts on weekly basis on our views concerning KB3. And there is no advocacy or campaign that has been done that would exceed what the National Democratic Working Group has been doing. The National Democratic Working Group, in its structures at a provincial, local, and at local level, have been engaged in the campaigns that have even led to some of our members being arrested and persecuted by the regime because our position in the nation has been known. Our information department has been making a lot of noise and a lot of literature, and the press releases has been released. And to be very frank with you, on the ground there is no any other organization whose members have been so active in terms of opposing Cape 3 more than the members of the National Democratic Working Group. The National Democratic Working Group members have been the protagonist champions in resisting Cape 3. So anybody who would think that I was not on the ground, that person must have been missing the news that is happening in our country, has not been following closely the political developments and political discourse and debates that have been happening in our country. We have been extremely active, and we still remain active after present day. And as I speak today, our organization is engaged in more programs to enlighten our people to resist the Cape 3. So basically, that is what I say. That no, contrary to the view of those who say that we have not been seen on the ground, we have been on the ground more than any other political or any organization outfit in our country. The National Democratic Working Group has been the voice of reason, and has been the powerful and most resistant and boisterous voice in resisting Cape 3. And that you cannot take away from so far the achievements that have been done. And even our own chairman, Pekin Lopez of Matabele South, is in prison. Not only that, our Blawayo chairman has been persecuted. They went and raided his house, for his vociferous campaigns against Cape 3. So was our Matabele and North Provincial chairman. Our Harare chairman's house was raided. The Secretary General of the party, Smutsigwa's house, was raided in Harare on the basis of our well-known wide campaign against Cape 3. So, and our members have been the most targeted ones in terms of resisting Cape 3 than any other members of other organizations. So it should show you the level of impact and the level of campaign which the National Democratic Working Group did against Cape 3. The regime knows who their really opponents are, and the National Democratic Working Group is one of that which they are so much afraid of. They know that we mean serious business. They know we cannot be bought. They know we cannot compromise our positions. They know we are people who are standing where they are, and they stand in their beliefs, and we cannot be shaken by an amount of gold or silver. But we are the people who are determined to save Zimbabwe. We are determined to be the messenger of the masses of our people, as we believe in servant leadership rather than master leadership. So in short, this is what I can say to you, Vanisha.
Thank you very much. Just as a follow up to that, now Cap 3 is now law. What's next? If Cap 4 is
It's law in the head of Emerson Mnangagwa and his surrogates and those people who cheat themselves in their mind. The law can only exist when it is found its legitimacy in the hearts and minds of its citizens. There are laws that have been passed that have never took effect. You will still remember even ZANU-PF has been doing all this evil against these people. They passed one of the most oppressive laws called POSA. Until it collapsed, they never managed to convict one single person using that law. They also passed a law that was called AIPA. Until it collapsed and died, they never managed to convict one single person. So you can have a paper which you can wave claiming that it is law, but as long as it does not have the resonance in the hearts and minds of the citizens of our country, in the masses of our people, that law exists only in the mind of the authors of their own demise. So as far as we are concerned in the National Democratic Working Group, CAP 3 only exists in the heads of Emerson Mnangagwa. It is not a law that we are part and parcel to, and we will continue telling the masses of our people to disregard that and continue to agitate strongly against that stupid law.
Thank you very much. Let's come on the political scene. Zimbabwe has no shortage of experienced political figures or activists, emerging leaders, but there seems to be a shortage of working together. You coming on the scene with the National Democratic Working Group, how is that narrative going to change for the masses of Zimbabwe?
The problem with the people with that kind of mindset is that they are talking about the marriage of individuals. They are not talking about the marriage of ideas and the marriage of the wish of the masses of our people. Like what we told you, the National Democratic Working Group is anchored on the ideology and the philosophy of having the struggle being owned by the masses, not by an individual. Myself, I'm just a messenger as its chairman and chief facilitator. I am not the driver of the agenda. The agenda is being driven by the masses. So the obsession of narrow-minded thinkers who only see politics in the lens of individuals is the one that has brought Zimbabwe where it is today. We are running away from the concept of thinking that individuals own the political destiny of our country to the philosophy where the masses of our people own the destiny of our nation. So that no longer appeals to us. What we are saying is that as we want the unity of the masses of our people to have one thinking, to have one idea, for them to know what they want in their country. This issue of individuals coming together has never brought any success anywhere. If you remember, in the 1990s, Abel Mzolewa took all the individual political leaders, Wanastole, Wanani, and came out with a political party called United Parties. That is not the unity. That is not the unity we are looking at as the National Democratic Working Group. We are looking at the unity of mindset of the masses of our people. As our masses must have one thinking, one idea about what they want about their country and the future of our nation.
Thank you very much. We are almost coming to winding
Thank,
down our
thank
broadcast.
you, thank you. Yeah,
So
sure.
for those watching us, if you've got any question, you might pop it up in the chat box, or if you want to join us, there's a link there in the comment section, or you can send us a WhatsApp message on that number there in the next 2 or so minutes, whilst I ask our honorable to respond to one or two final questions from me as the host. Honorable Scholar, you might have a young person watching the broadcast. What he has only known is a hardship in Zimbabwe. There might be an old woman uh, who participated in the liberation struggle, lost a lot, and there's nothing to show for it. There might be some middle-aged man who has been there supporting the movement for democratic change, and their families were ground to zero. What message do you have to these people?
The destiny of the destiny of our country is in their hands. There is no one whom they should abdicate the responsibility to free our country rather than themselves. In a struggle against the dictatorship, in a struggle against the dictatorship, there is always casualties. We have seen it even during the period of liberation struggle. Thousands and thousands of our mass of our people have been killed in Chimoyo, Nyatsonya, Tembwe, in Mukushi, and other areas. I think we should end the interview now. The lawyer of Bekim Pilombez, our chairman who was in prison, is phoning now. I think he wants to give me the great news that Bekim Pilombez has been released. So please, can I answer? This is a very important call. Thank you very much for this interview. Let's continue with that today was supposed to be a 45 minutes one. We are now at 48, and let's continue with the discourse tomorrow at the same time again for us to have another 45 minutes, because you still have got some very important questions. I've seen that we must answer our citizens. Are you prepared for you to continue with this discourse with us tomorrow at the same time?
Yeah, tomorrow at the same time. Yes. Okay, you can drop up. Then I can just end the broadcast, and so I can give you leave.
Thank you very much. So we can proceed tomorrow, another 45 minutes again at the same time at 5 p.m. same time.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Vanisha. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, viewers of Champion Network TV in collaboration with NDWG Global TV. That was the conversation I was having with Honorable Job Sikhala, who is the chief facilitator and the chairperson of the National Democratic Working Group. He had to leave because there's an important call he has to receive, and we will continue again on this topic again tomorrow at the same time, 5 o'clock Central African time, and it will be 4 o'clock in the United Kingdom and other places. So if you have got any questions that you may want Honorable Job Sikhala to answer for you, put your comments in the chat box, or you can send a WhatsApp message or voice message on the number that is being shown on the screen, so that those can be the first questions you have to answer when we host him again tomorrow at the same time. So I just want to thank those who have been watching us, and good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are joining us. It's me, your host, Misha.
Thank you for watching Champions Network TV. Make sure you click that like button and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get the ding 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 every time we do post our videos.